Hello and welcome to How I Play, my level 85 Shaman. So we're going to get right into this with spells, and I should note that this is not the original character that it was before in the level 80 video. I took my character from the Sons of Thule series, I renamed them, and I race changed them to the proper races so that I would not have to do the Epic 1.0s again. Because I just don't want to. So that's how lazy I am. But with that, there are some rank 2 spells that I did not have previously and stuff like that. So that is the only reason why that is that. So let's kind of go into spells here first. We do change the multibind a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Danielle's Mending is our current mending spell. It does 5,249 damage heal, so it's pretty nice. Now, I leveled from level 80 to 85 on these guys in the House of Thule using the previous rank of this. I didn't need more, so you're gonna start seeing how some synergies are starting to work here. Like, this is fantastic, right? Next up we have Shadow of Renewal. So this is our heal over time group buff spell. This will heal everybody for 1200 a tick. Very nice. I keep that on cooldowns very first in my multibind. And then I have Antecedent's Intervention, which is the current level intervention spell. This just heals the group based on specific numbers, and I have pulled up Alakazam this time, so I wouldn't feel totally inept when I read these off. All right, so if you're barely hurt, 1400 damage. If you're slightly hurt, 2900 damage. If you're a little bit more hurt, 4400 damage. If you're like almost dead, 5,900 damage, and if you're like silly, you're about to die, 7,300 damage. Now that can crit and it'll heal whoever's lowest, right? The way I play is typically heals the tank for whatever he needs to be healed for, so it works out pretty well. There's also an AA that will also cast it, so we kind of have both of those on the bar at the same time, which is really nice. It's a lot of extra healing getting out there really quick. And then I have a Helicon Whisper, rank 2, which is the current level Torpor single target version of this Shade of Renewal. You'll notice it does 400 more health-ish. Yeah, oh no, 2. Yeah, that's 400. Yeah, not that bad of math. Yeah, 400-ish more health single target than that. So what I like to do is, while I'm pulling, right, I will give my Shadow Knight the single target one with just a shift numpad 1 while I'm pulling, right, and then when I get back I'm in the multi-bind, and then Shade of Renewal is the first thing he gets hit, right? If we go over to my Shadow Knight, he still has Helicon Whisper because it doesn't overwrite it. So everybody else in the group gets healed with the group version, and the Shadow Knight kind of keeps the single target one, which kind of works out really well, getting that extra healing. So there's situations where he doesn't need healing, and it's good for that. So kind of, you know how I do that right there. Next we have Blood of Jaildar. This is just our current level poison dot. I did some testing earlier. How much did it do? It's like 4,100 a tick, give or take. So it's pretty nice. And then Nectar of the Slytherin. This is just the current level Nectar, right? I just have 3 dots memorized now. And then we have Breath of Queen of Malaran. Now this is what, 1,400 a tick. So these are all pretty good dots. Now if I hit my dot button here, right, I'm going to target this combat dummy. This is a level, I think this is an underfoot. It's a level 85, so I think it's an underfoot combat dummy, if I'm not mistaken. I think Denna is the House of Thule one. But you can see here, with crits, it's like 13,000 a tick, 16,000 a tick. You know, it's significant amount of damage, right? If I need it, it's there. I have it available to me as a shaman. Now, if I was soloing, you know, I might pull up. I believe we have one other dot. It's a magic-based dot. I would pull that up and a root, right? That's the only thing I would change about my hotbar, right? And then I would probably use virulent paralysis on it, in all honesty, as my root because it is really good. But yeah, so you know, you have some options there. I keep 3 dots memmed at this point in time. I don't know if that'll go on further and further. Now, there's some other options we could be doing. Like we do have a poison nuke right here. This bite of Uken here. This is a near instant cast, 4,000 damage. And if this was a target of target spell, I would use this over anything. But since it's not, it's a little more difficult for me to get off, right? Like it's a 10-second reuse. So I could, in theory, it's like I have the pet attack button here on my 4 multibind. So in that multibind, I could nuke with it while I, you know, send my pet in, do the pet swarm and stuff like that. And you know, I definitely get some DPS out of that. But most of the time, I am healing, so it's hard to say that if I would even be able to get that out, right? But we do have those memorized now. A new spell that was added in, I believe this is Underfoot, the expansion Underfoot. So let me double check before I keep going here. Yeah, this was added in Underfoot. Now, this is a fantastic spell, and this changes everything about how we kind of play the shaman at this point. And there's going to be another change at, I think, 90 and 95, but this is really phenomenal. So this is a target of target nuke. Now, it doesn't work in the sense that I have to target the target and nuke, right? I target who I'm healing. And this is a game changer, right? So if we have spell damage there, if I do Frost Call on him, combat dummy Keza was hit for 4,000 by Frost Gift. And I got Healing Twin Cast. Now, what? You're saying, what? Healing Twin Cast. So that means my next 2 healing spells that are single target are going to be twin cast. Now, I only have mending right now. So I mend right here. That gets twin casted. You can't see it because he's not taking any damage. But then that's, you know, how much ever damage this is, right? 5,200 times 2. That's insane. And then I still have another charge, and this is 20 seconds. So you can imagine the healing throughput that we now have as a shaman. What kind of here? I'm just gonna hit this. I'm hitting 5, which is my multibind. You can kind of see how here I have all the stuff. Frost gift. So I'm now doing damage with a frost nuke. I'm contributing that. It's not a whole lot, but I am contributing now. But I'm healing with mending, and that gets cast quite a bit, right? I do Shaded and Renewal because we want to have that as, you know, just something we do, because later on at 105, that becomes our synergy spell, and we're going to want to be doing that anyway because it increases the healing of the next 3 level 90 or higher healing spells. This instant duration, so the same as the Healing Twin Cast. Now, you can kind of see a synergy here going on that is really what makes the shaman a powerhouse healer, you know, let's say 85, 90 plus, right? Before 85, healing was kind of a pain, right? It was a bear, if you will. I didn't always have enough throughput to get things done, but now, with Frost Gift as the first spell and the Reckless line later on, our healing just becomes crazy. You can see here I can just crit for 11,000 with this spell. Now, that's not a whole lot of damage, right? Like, let's be real. That's not a whole lot of damage on a mob that, you know, my Shadow Knight's hitting for like 19k with just normal melee hits, right? Like, it's not a lot of damage, but it's something. It's something to contribute to the group other than healing. And that is kind of nice. Now, those single target nukes that I was talking about earlier, we could now start weaving those in the 4, right? Because when we switch to the 5, because it's 2 different multibinds, right? I have a 4 and I have a 5. If I switch the 4 multibind, to doing single target nukes, because the dots are just it's not gonna work really well. I could start getting some real damage out of him, because the second I need to, I can switch to my 5 Multibind, which is pure healing, but it's still gonna do that nuke, right? So there's some interesting things we can do here, and as we get higher level, we might experiment more with it. I need to, like, I know the House of Thule stuff is not going to be much of a challenge to my Shadow Knight right now, because he's been there. We started there at level 80, and I just don't feel like anything's going to be doing much to him at that point. But as we get into the harder and harder tier 2 these expansions, right? Like I feel like Veil of Valaris may start to be like where it starts to, really push us. But I just, we'll see how that goes. But now I feel like the Shaman has the power to get those heals out, get that healing damage, and do that kind of stuff. So next up we have Listlessness. So this is our current level proc slow that I keep on the tank at all times. And I have this multibind, or this multibind, this macro button here. So just cast 9, cast 10, right there, and then 10 being the Talisman of the Lynx, which grants our melee attacks a chance to do extra damage. This lands on all the pets, all the sworn pets, if they're out at the time. Everybody gets a little bit of love out of the Lynx. All right. So it's a phenomenal spell. Like here, I'll take my Bard over here, and she has 1 weapon, right? So I'm playing her differently now. If I turn on her attack, she's only going to swing this main hand weapon. Let's go spell damage. So if we look here, her weapon procs for 1300. She has it on. There we go. 764 from that. Now, probably wasn't a good example with the Bard because I'm doing something different with her now. But as you can see, 700 damage proc on everybody in the group. It's insane. I'm almost at the point where I would start turning on melee on the mages and, change their macros to have an attack on in here so that when they're doing the follow me, the way when I'm running around and I have everybody following me with the in-game auto follow, right, that when the Bard's meleeing, everybody else should be meleeing too, right? So it's just interesting that we can start doing some stuff like that, but we'll see long term. And then I have the current level Cannibalize. That is our normal Cannibalize. It's okay. Took what 2 or 3% of my health, 1600 damage. It gives me a little mana back, right? I mean, anything helps. Anything helps. And then I have pre-incarnation. I replaced regen. My characters are buff capped for the most part, so I can't add more buffs, and I feel like regen at this point is just kind of beating a dead horse and hitting myself with the buff cap. But pre-incarnation is a second chance at life, right? So if you die, there is a chance that you will become invulnerable and come back to life. How often it works, I have no idea. Now, I remember in a few of my series, I always cast this on all my shamans, right? It becomes an AA later on. We can click it there. We don't have to memorize it anymore. And there's a lot of times where the shaman's the last person alive because of that. And because of that, so let's say everybody's dead. Shaman's invulnerable, right? Shaman's invulnerable. He's doing his thing. Now, we have a new ability called Inconspicuous, a totem, which allows us to feign death and turn into a totem and evade all aggro. So I've done it before. I think it was the Tawani series, maybe the Holder series, where everybody dies except for the shaman, and I'm able to do that and able to res everybody back up. So it's very, very helpful when it works. When it doesn't work, well, it didn't work, so it's not helpful at all. Yeah. So if we go over the hotbars here, the only thing that changed was I added Inconspicuous Totem to my minus button here. Now, that corresponds here. I have Fading Memories over here. Well, I guess I didn't put the major one on yet, but false death for the thing. So all my characters, even my Shadow Knight, have their, remove aggro and avoid everything on that button. So bad pull, I hit, minus sign. Everybody goes into that mode, right? So it's, kind of useful there and stuff like that. My debuff button is the same. I use AA Mallow, AA Slow, and then I send the pet with Spirit Call. Same thing. And then the buffs, I just took out the last line for the fourth one we used to have that we replaced with Frost Gift. And then I put pet attack there, just an off chance the pet's not attacking. The pet is worth casting at all times. Here, let me see whose pet is attacking right now, because we can get that to stop. I don't even know. It's the warder. All right, back off. There's a mage pet attacking too. Back off. All right, I think that's all. Maybe the Shadow Knight pet. Okay. All right, so if we take the Shaman pet, let's go from behind, because there's he might get hurt. All right, so if we go to see other melee here, so he's hitting for 529 now, so that's pretty good, right? That's 500 a tick ish, let's say maybe 2 hits a tick, so 1,000 a tick. It just depends on what that actually parses out to. But it's not too terrible, right? That's damage that's always going out. That's damage that's benefiting my mages for having through the Jolt of the Many line of spells, right? It's phenomenal. So always have your pet out. Always have it doing something. Don't turn on taunt, because it'll die. It'll die quick. Let's see here. Buff X target 20. This is the same. Just does listlessness and talisman. Some teleport items here. And these are my single target heals for casting Torpor, right? It's just shift numpad 1, like that. So I just have to know the order. I keep the order the same on all my characters with extended target. So I know that 1 is always Hobbs, 2 is always Viva, 3 is always Stasi, and so on and so on, right? So as long as I keep that memorized in my head, I can heal with those if I need to. All right, so the Multibind changed somewhat here to put Frost Gift in. Really, that's all this really changed. I don't believe any of these other things are new. But I still do Shade of Renewal first, because later on we want to do that first, because it's a synergy spell. We want the synergy to proc as soon as possible. Then I do Ascendant's Intervention, because that is not going to be benefited from Frost Gift. At least I don't think so. Let's try it real quick to make sure I'm not stupid. Frost Gift. All right, we have 2 charges right here of healing Twin Cast. Cast that. It actually is benefited from it. What? It's okay. All right. Well, there we go. Damn. I didn't even know that. So now the Multibind is Group Torpor, Frost Gift, and then Ascendant's Intervention, followed by Mending, right? And then everything else is AA heals that I just burn on cooldown, along with Cannibalize. So I have Cannibalize 5 in here, because I use that on cooldown. It is currently, what, 48,000 health for 48 mana? 4,800 mana, so that's pretty good. If we cast it now, what does that take us down to? 90-ish, 90% of our health, right? With Shade of Renewal, you can see there we already like ticked up in like 2 ticks, so it's not a big deal. I do Ancestral Aid on cooldown, which is another heal. Rabid Bear, just to turn me into a bear. I don't know why. It's got like health regeneration in it. I feel like that's kind of nice. If we take a look at this, right? If I look at my health regen, I'm at 1,800. So the health regen plus the, group torpor at this all going at the same time kind of really helps out. And then later on, we're going to get like the roar line of composite or whatever it's called, right? Which also has another regen component in it. So it just, is a little bit extra there, right, for us to kind of just not do that. Now, if I were to melee with him, this would be like insanely powerful for meleeing stuff, but I don't melee with my Shaman. It should, but it's just too hard to control 5 characters in melee. See here, then Ancestral Guard. This just absorbs melee damage. Now, I'm constantly burning this on cooldown, right? It's a 3-minute melee damage reduction. I do it on cooldown, so, I lose it, 12 minutes out of the time. Now, you could arguably say that I'm wasting it, but at the same time, if I need it, it's there, it's always going. If I didn't use it now, I would never use it. That's just how I am with some of this stuff. Same here with Union of Spirits. This just heals the target for a big heal, and then it does a heal over time. Just more healing, more healing, more healing, more healing. Then we have the current level Cannibalize, and then we have Soothsayer's Intervention, which is just the AA clicky of the Descendants intervention here. So we kind of get double duty on that. So those will both benefit from, before I say that. Okay, they both benefit from the twin cast healing that we get from Frost Gift. So that is very nice, right? And the reuse on this is 5 minutes? So it's going to double heal on the 2 interventions, right? And it's going to double heal on the mending. And I'm constantly redoing the Frost Gift, right? If we do that, what's the reuse on that one? 12 seconds. So every 12 seconds I get healing twin cast. So that's pretty crazy. And then I have Call of the Ancients here at the very end, which just summons a ward that heals. So that's how the multibind works for the Shaman now. Pretty much the same as it was. We added Frost Gift, and we changed it right here because I didn't realize that the group spells counted for the healing twin cast. So that is nice to know. Now, yeah, instant healing spell. I guess I would have thought it was only the single target, but here we are. Maybe it works with Shower too. I never noticed it. But there we go. So some of the other spells I cast are Spirit of the Taltak. Now, I don't cast this one as much, and I'm kind of lazy about it because we're going to get an AA for it, right? Lupine Spirit. Where is it? Lupine Spirit right here. So at 90, we get the group version AA of it, and then I can get rid of this button. Now I cast it the Beast Lord has it too. I have it on the Beast Lord also. I just don't know how useful it is, considering how buff capped I am. Now it's gonna land on the Bard, the Beast Lord for sure, right? The Shadow Knight usually doesn't because he's already got a bunch of stuff. And I AFK'd him in guild lobby while I was doing other things, and he got a bunch of ranger buffs, so he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. Next up I have the pet, which is Ayana's Faithful, so just the current level pet. Pet haste is still spirit quickening from level 50, and focus is now Talisman of Unity. And now this is a unique change to how these buffs work in the sense that it casts all the buffs. So this casts Strength of the Mammoth, Dark Pulp, Focusing, Spirit of Determination, increases everything. Now I think I have higher level versions right now, but it gives you agility, gives you strength, gives you stamina, gives you dex, gives you hit points, it gives you all the Shaman buffs in one nice little package that you don't have to really worry about. Here, let me go to this one right here, maybe. Come on. Is it still casting? Yeah, there we go. You can see there. So Talisman of the Unity, so he picked up Mammoth Strength, and I believe he picked up Dark Paw Focusing, Transcendent Foresight, and I think that's it. So he picked up all the buffs. So that means I don't need a stamina button anymore. I don't need any... I never did agility because I never had enough buff slots. So it kind of makes our life a little easier when it comes to buffing. And those only come in at the last level, like the last rank of the spell set. So like Underfoot was 285, House of Thule till 90. So at 90 we'll get an upgrade to it. So there's no upgrade until then. But the way I play, I just cast the previous level 1 until I get the next group buff. I never go for the little minor upgrades that you get like that. I always just do the big one, whatever saves me the most time. So it just depends there. Let's see here. We also got Visionary Unity. So this casts, it only casts Pack of Viana, which, so your detrimental damaging spells will have a chance to summon a pack of wolves and attack the target. Consumes 300 mana for every 6 seconds. So it's kind of a nice little spell there. It summons wolves when you do damage. So I try to keep it up as much as I can. I don't know the duration of it. I think it's a long duration, but I don't even see it. There it is, 41 minutes. So I guess it takes mana to maintain the buff. So you can see our mana regen goes down, but with Cannibalize and all that, I don't really notice any kind of negative mana reduction. And when I'm out killing stuff, I don't even lose mana. I have mod rods, right? So this is the previous level mod rod. I don't have the latest mod rod, but I do, give him mod rods, and I manually click them. I do not put them into my my multibind or my assist buttons, just because I had some issues. Now I probably could put them back in, but the problem is you have to change the text every level, right? So that gets kind of tedious. So I wait till like level 125 and then I'll put it back in. But I do it on the mages because they need the mana more than this guy. So it just depends. And then everything else is the same. I don't see anything different. I feel more confident about the healing now. I feel like the combination of the Shadow Knight's life taps and all that stuff, plus the way the Shaman heals with the heals over time, and the single target heal, I feel like it's really coming together now at 85. I didn't have much issue at 80 through 85 healing. I think from 85 to 90 will be a real test of everything that we got going on now, and seeing how this actually all plays together. But yeah, that is how I play my 85 Shaman. Gear wise, he's wearing House of Thule gear. So this is the gear that my Monk's Shaman was wearing. I was trying to give him tier 1. I think it's this stuff. But I'd already had all this made, and I wasn't going to waste 100,000 plat on trying to give him that. So he has tier 2 House of Thule for the most part, plus some of the tier 1 stuff from all the mobs we were killing in the Fear Rot leveling up. So nothing too fancy here at all. But yeah, so that's how I play my level 85 Shaman. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I do know that things are going to change here probably at level 90 when we get our first Reckless line of spell, and so on and so on. So it's not set in stone yet. It probably about 110 to 115 is when our play style and spell sets get set in stone and won't change for the rest of the game. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.